to see you.
Hello, everyone.
Joe McAllister has been a dear friend of ours here at QVC for, is it going on how many years now?
So, 11 years.
You have been a chef, though, for 25.
25 years.
Okay, so
yes.
we have loved every minute of our time with you.
you.
And Joe has taught us quite a bit in the kitchen as well. And this is pressure cooking
Yes.
in a compact size.
Yes, a 2-quart size, yeah.
So why do we want to infuse flavor in a smaller vessel?
You know, a lot of people were asking us for maybe one that would feed 1 to 2 people. This will actually feed as many as 4 people.
Wow.
I like that because it gives you a little flexibility. But look at the small footprint and the weight. It's about 6 pounds.
Oh, that's,
right?
Wow.
Yeah, so it's actually quite doable, and you're not taking up a big footprint
Really nice.
on your countertop. And those appliances that we leave out on the countertop, we tend to use more. And you know, this is the eating season, so we are getting into the braises.
We've been practicing all year.
Yes, exactly. And now it's time to, you know, actually execute. So, you know, and speaking of hacks, like this time of year, I'll do things like stocks and demi-glasses,
Yes.
put them in the freezer, have them ready for, you know, the rib roast on Boxing Day and that kind of thing. So.
We can't wait. So the first color choice that you're seeing is right in front of Joe. That's that beautiful stainless steel.
There you go.
Then right next door we have cinnamon. Next door to that we have the copper.
There you go.
Then we have the blue, and I think that blue in the metallic is just gorgeous.
It is.
Then next door we've got the eggplant. And then, last but not least, we have the green. So all 6 colors are available. It is back in stock. We would love to hear from you. If you are a Cook's Essentials pressure cooker fan, you can absolutely give us a call. The testimonial line is 800-600-1556. This, the comparable retail is $47.
Wow.
But our price is less than $40. So we have 2 easy payments of $19.99. But for anybody who's watching right now, Joe, who has not cannonballed into the world of pressure cooking, what's the big deal with pressure cooking?
The big deal is that you're trapping all of that flavor and all that moisture, all of that intensity in. You're actually basically driving it into the food that you're cooking. So the pasta really picks up the flavor of the meat sauce. And the first thing you'll notice when you go in here is that that aroma. I mean, it's just
you took the lid off and my brain went to night-night because it just smells so good.
I know, it does. It smells wonderful. Now what I'm doing here is I'm just using the paddle that comes with it to mix in some of this mozzarella and this Parmesan because we've already pressure cooked this. We went in with the dry pasta, right?
Okay.
And this took about 5 minutes to make. I know.
What?
5 minutes. Yeah.
For pasta.
For pasta, I know. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
So let's take a look at what that is going to present to the table.
Joe.
So I know, it's just gorgeous. And the steam that's coming off of it, it's just amazing.
Put on a little Downton Abbey.
That's right. Yeah, in the wintertime, absolutely. Because, you know, I'm right there with Mrs. Patmore, you know, we're cooking for the family. And I just love that character, I tell you.
I love it. Joe and I always share our Anglophile stories, so it's always lovely to hear them. But it's not just for pastas. We can do other things too.
Exactly. So what you'll find, and this is a lot of recipes now are from One Pot Comfort, excuse me, which is Meredith's new cookbook. And so what you'll notice is that they're very simple recipes, 5 minutes here, 50 minutes here. For a pot roast usually is an all-day ordeal for me. I start with the searing process, and then we go on to, you know, braising and letting it slow cook. And, you know, the smell is wonderful, but the time commitment, you can't really do anything else. What are you going to do, leave the house and, you know, do your shopping while the pot roast is? No, you're not going to do that.
No,
so, you know,
can't
you have
leave
to,
all the appliances on like that.
Right. So easily we could feed up to 4 people. It's a 2-pound roast that goes in there. So you're using a beautiful chuck roast, and then look at all these vegetables and look at all that gorgeous broth. That's just incredible.
I mean, did your mom ever make pot roast when you were growing up?
All the time.
I know, but it took all day.
It does.
And to your point, you couldn't leave the house because there was just things that had to be added or things that had to be stirred or things that had to be fussed with with the pot roast. Look at that gorgeous, tender, juicy, infused with flavor pot roast that took how long?
50 minutes.
That's crazy.
Yeah, 50 minutes, and you see that I'm just able to pull that pot roast apart just with a fork. If I had a spoon, I could do the same thing.
May
It's
I
just,
ask you, either on this one or this one,
Yes.
can you show us the front? And
Yeah.
what are the buttons and what do we do with them?
So over here, you're going to see that we actually have 8 presets.
Okay.
So when we page through the menu right here,
Okay.
it'll start at the first one. You can do high pressure cooking, low pressure cooking. You can keep things warm. The preset for that is 8 minutes, 1 hour for each of the other ones, right? So when we're doing the pot roast, just go ahead and put it. You want to treat it like just a crock pot. You can slow cook on a very low pressure and do that as
So
well.
wait, low pressure, high pressure, and I can treat it like a slow cooker.
Right, exactly, right there, 30-minute preset.
Awesome.
And then, of course, you can adjust those times manually if you want. So if you need more time on that, you can certainly do that. So now the other thing to note right here is that if you don't hit that start button,
Yes.
it's not going to do anything. So always hit the start button or it's just going to sit there and do absolutely nothing. Pressure, excuse me, we already did that one. So let's go down to the bottom here. We can brown. So that 2-pound pot roast that we have over here, we can start by browning
So you
it
can
in.
keep all the fond in the recipe.
Exactly.
Ooh.
A chili recipe. This time of year, I do chilies because they're just so easy to do, and rice in 8 minutes. So, for example, the rice pudding at the end only took 8 minutes to cook from dry.
Okay, so the stainless steel is very popular here at the end. We also have the cinnamon, which red, as we know, a very popular color year-round. Then we have the copper. Next door to that, we have the blue. Then we have the eggplant, which is that vibrant purple. And then last but not least, we have that gorgeous green. Now, the comparable retail value on this 2-quart digital stainless steel pressure cooker is $47. We have it today for a featured price of $39.98. We also have 2 easy payments available for you of $19.99. Now, the removable nonstick cooking pot you can take out and you can wash easily, so you don't have to worry about getting your elbow down in there. And Elizabeth is on our Facebook page, and she said, I put off getting a pressure cooker for ages, and now I couldn't live without it.
Right.
I get that.
And I bet she put it off because some of them are just too big, and that's not what you want in every situation.
And to your
Sometimes-
point,
yeah.
this one's 8 inches high, 10.5 inches wide, and 10.5 inches long. Is that grits?
It is grits.
Can
So
I go face down in that bowl?
You can. And is chive okay with that?
Of course.
I could do
thank
another
you.
one if you
are-
don't like that.
No, you are so sweet.
So
I love it.
We've got some ham, grits, some cheddar cheese in there, and again, it takes very little time. We're talking about 5 minutes to cook the grits, right? It's there we go. I know grits are just so satisfying. They really are. It's one of those soulful foods. It really satisfies at a very organic level, and grits are just incredible.
Is it bad manners if I just walk with this?
No, help yourself. You'll notice also
Way
that
done.
the lids are on a hinge, but they also can pop off very easily. So all you do is slide that along, and the lid will come right up for you, so that's not a problem.
This looks amazing too.
This is a Tuscan bean soup, and it's
Ooh.
ready in about 20 minutes. So there's basically 2 steps. You would sear your bacon for the first 5 minutes, and then add your ingredients, and for about 15 minutes, you're just going to go ahead and pressure cook the bean soup. So those beans could be from dry, they could be canned, it's whatever you have in your pantry. Don't worry about that. They're going to be tender regardless, and that's just an incredible thing. And then, it's a nice, thick kind of soup. We have the spinach in the bottom, but we could always put the croutons on the top, that's always a nice thing.
Your
With a-
voice sounds like opera to me right now.
There we go.
It's so melodic and soothing. All I heard was croutons.
Croutons and
Oh.
soup. There we go.
There's something about food out of a pressure cooker, and it's always at the right consistency.
Right.
The flavor is always the kind that makes memories. I mean, it's just, you never get dry chicken. You never get that turkey where everybody talks about, oh, wasn't that a catastrophe?
I know.
This is how you do it right. And it does it in less time.
It does. It does it in significantly less time. So a pot roast, for example, we could be 4 to 5 hours braising, even a 2-pound pot roast, because it's a cheaper cut of meat. It means it's going to have more tendon, more sinewy aspects to it, so that all has to break down, and it takes time.
Speaking of time, here's some cook times in a chart on your screen at
There we
home.
go,
Take
right.
a look at the traditional cook time versus pressure cook time for all the foods listed down the side.
That's right. So your rib roast, for example, look at that. You can do that in just 15 minutes. Ham in a pressure cooker, by the way, ham in a pressure cooker is a whole new experience.
Is it?
If you have not tried it, because it is so
haven't.
moist. And all of that moisture actually wicks a lot of the salt out as well. So when you actually pull the ham out, you've lost a little bit of salt into the broth, and I like that flavor a little bit better. Sometimes ham is just too
That's a
full
great
on.
tip.
Yeah, it's just delicious, and it's not dry. It's just so incredible.
I'm still eating grits.
I know, you're still eating
I have to
the
put
grits.
this down.
We've moved
Somehow,
on to the pulled chicken here.
for a
So
solid 4 minutes, I forgot there was a television show.
good for you.
Oh, it's so good, Joe.
I know, it is, isn't it?
Keep in mind, too, this is, if you have a larger family and you think, well, I don't know if I need a smaller one. What about those days where not everybody is ready to eat at one time? What about the days where you just need that smaller slow cooker
Right.
because you're having a gathering, or maybe you just need to leave something warm for when the next wave of folks come home? What about folks who have downsized? What about folks who are just getting started with their own family? This is a great size to have around. And I remember chatting on In the Kitchen with David for years and hearing people, or reading what people were saying in the chat, and folks were saying, I would love to have a pressure cooker, but I
Right.
really do need one that's smaller.
Smaller.
If you have an outlet, you can pressure cook.
Right, because we don't want to do 6 quarts of food every day.
No.
We just don't want to do that. This is brilliant because I can actually do, instead of having the processed food or the takeout, I can do these hearty meals, a little bit fresher in terms of the ingredients, obviously. You're controlling what you're putting into it,
Right.
fat content, salt, etc. And so I like that idea because now you're doing it in a manageable batch. And again, you mentioned before that the insert comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very easy to come out. You can put that in the top rack of the dishwasher or just hand wash it.
I have to
So
say,
easy.
too, those sandwiches look beautiful, but I mean, think about it. Your point, you just made a whole bunch of pulled chicken and added it to sandwiches. I mean, you could make at least 18 sandwiches
Oh,
out of the chicken that
yeah,
you
yeah,
have
yeah.
in there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I mean,
Totally.
oh, what did you make?
So this is a chicken and dumpling dish.
Oh, wow.
And it takes about, again, about a half hour, seriously, to do this. And then you make the dumplings right on the top. It's going to take less time also for this to pressure down. Obviously, it's 2 quarts. So
Good
it's
point.
real easy. With the larger ones, it takes... It takes forever for those. I've worked with the 8 quart. I love it
Yeah.
because you're making a huge batch of food, but oh boy, are you waiting.
Is this recipe also found in One Pot Comfort?
Yes, you're going to find this in One Pot Comfort.
Okay.
It's a fabulous recipe, and look at that. Those dumplings are so tender. They're just gorgeous.
By the way, more than 200 have been ordered now in our presentation, and this is about the ease of the season. We want to enjoy those comfort foods, but think about it. A lot of those traditional comfort foods, somebody was in the kitchen for a real long time trying to
That's
make
right.
that happen.
That's
and now
exactly
you
right.
don't have to do that. But what is in here?
So we did a long grain rice with some chickpeas. Again, you'll
Ooh.
find this recipe in One Pot Comfort. And I love this idea because rice is, again, one of those very satisfying things.
Yes.
And then we add to that the chickpeas. You can absolutely taste this.
I
if you
wanna
want.
try it. I love
I'm gonna put a little
chickpeas.
parsley on there.
Thank
there we
you.
go. But again,
see?
the
I'll hold
rice
it out
is
here so you can see.
cooking. The rice is cooking in under 10 minutes. So that's a wonderful thing. The preset is for 8 minutes. So all you have to do is hit that button, follow the recipe. One Pot Comfort is a great book. I've been going through that myself
too.
because again, here we are. It is the eating season.
I
So
know. Well,
and those are the right foods.
For some
you
of us,
know?
it's a year-round sport. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
That's really good.
I know, it is. Isn't it wonderful?
It breaks
it's
my heart to
just
put it down.
marvelous because it's perfect. It's not a sticky rice.
Mm-hmm.
It's perfect in terms of how it cooked. And
I think Alana would like that one a lot.
There you go.
You might want to dive into
there
this
you
one.
go.
When,
All
yeah,
right.
mhm.
And then lastly, look at this, a beautiful rice pudding.
Oh, is this Meredith's recipe for her rice pudding as well?
Right, so it's the rum-soaked raisin recipe that you'll also find in the new cookbook.
Giddy up.
Yeah, and we're just going to go ahead and blend those right in.
So as you take a look at the rice pudding, remember we have 6 colors. Remember also we have 2 easy payments of $19.99. Now we are back in stock. This is a 2-quart capacity. You get the little insert. It is non-stick, so it's lovely to cook with. You get the measuring cup and the paddle as well. All you have to do is choose your color, and you can enjoy K46039 for years to come. And this is Cook's Essentials, so it's our in-house brand. of elite kitchen electrics and tools. So you can't find this anywhere else. You can only find it here at QVC and now QVC2. I know it's rum soaked,
Yes.
but can I still try it anyway?
Sure.
I love rice pudding.
It's fun.